So when I come into this bathroom, what I hear is if you're experiencing that, you've got one of these leaky tub faucets. It's pretty annoying. I'm going to show you how you can fix that on a single handle Moen shower tub setup. And this is something you can do yourself pretty easily. It just requires some very basic tools, and it'll save you a lot from having to call the plumber. Now that the water's off, we need to release all of the water that's in the pipes behind here and make sure this is totally emptied out. Now with the water off, I'm going to set down a towel to make sure that nothing goes down the drain accidentally. And this way, if any screws come out or anything like that, there's nowhere for them to go down the drain. The next thing we want to do is take off this handle, and most handles on most fixtures are held on by what's called a set screw, and I've got one right here. It usually will use an Allen key or a hex key, and I know that on this one it's a 7/64 hex key, so I'm going to insert that in here, and then we'll just loosen up this set screw. And on some, you don't need to remove it all the way. On this one, it actually prefers to be all the way out. It'll make life easier. There we go. With that off, we reveal the housing for the cartridge underneath. And back in here, there's actually another screw, a Phillips head screw that's holding this piece on right here. I'll use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove this plastic piece here. Now when I remove that, I get the entire plastic set here. I'm going to keep the screw with that and set that aside. This brass stem that you see right here is actually the brass stem of the cartridge. The cartridge is what handles turning the water on, off, and making it hot and cold. So in order to access that, we're going to have to remove the vanity plate here with these couple of screws. And again, every setup will be a little bit different. So the gist of it is you want to make sure to have access to the cartridge that's back here. Now with the faceplate off, you can see that there is a little sleeve going around the cartridge housing here. This sleeve typically has a little channel on top, and that's actually what helps the lever or the handle to stop in each direction. But this will typically just pull right out. There we go. And then this is the cartridge. This is what we're after. So I'm going to zoom in and show you that there's a little pin in here that we're going to need to remove in order to pull out the cartridge. Now at this point, we can really see what the cartridge looks like. In fact, in here I can see that there are some numbers. And as we pull this pin out, we'll be able to see those numbers a little bit more easily. You can actually do a quick web search to verify that you get the right cartridge to replace this one with. In this case, this is a Moen 1222, which is a really common type for these single handle fixtures like this. Now to remove the pin, I'm just going to use some needle nose pliers and gently take this guy out. Being very careful not to lose this. We want to make sure that we have that for afterwards. You can buy replacements of these, but hopefully you won't have to bother with that. And I can see in here I've got 158085, a 14114, 1321. Got all these different numbers in here. So you can do a web search to locate the cartridge that will replace this one that you've got here. So next up, we have to remove this cartridge, and there's a couple ways to go about that. The first thing I'd recommend is using some pliers like these, and just with very little pressure, just see if you can grab the two flat spots on the shaft here and see, oh, see, mine's actually pulling right out. Well, it's starting to anyway. There we go. Yep, it's coming out. Okay, so that's what the cartridge looks like, and that's what we need to replace. There are several things that could go wrong with this. Could be some mechanics on the inside here. It could be the seals on the left and the right for the hot and cold. Your O-ring could go bad, but we can see that we've got a Moen with a part number right here, and that's what we're going to want to look up to do a replacement for this. Now if your cartridge didn't slide out quite that easily, I'm going to show you a tool that you can use that's pretty inexpensive that will help you actually do that work for you. So this piece here is called a core remover or a cartridge remover. Now the idea is with the screw fastened on here and then the barrel part fastened all the way down against it, you should have a lot of leverage with this handle to where you can twist it and just pull it right out. There we go. So that'll make the job a lot easier if you cannot seem to pull that out with a little amount of effort on the shaft. Now with the cartridge out, you're going to want to just feel around in here, make sure there's no debris that you detect in there, no little chunks or pieces or anything like that, because we don't want to put a new cartridge in with debris in the socket. Alright, so with this all cleaned out and the old cartridge out, we're basically going to do everything in reverse order with the new cartridge. Now inside the packaging for your new cartridge, you should have a little pack of lubricant. We're going to put a little bit of that on here. By putting this lubricant on here, it'll just make it easier to slide everything back in. We're going to make sure that the HC is up just like before, and then that should slide in. Whoops. Oh. I want to make sure that doesn't happen. If you push on that and it pushes the whole piece out, that's not good. We want to make sure that it's all the way locked in and flat on the bottom there. Okay, and that's really what this white piece is for, to help you with that. So we can just push right in like so. Should be able to go all the way back in just like the other one was. There we go. Okay, so now we fit back in just perfectly. Okay, again, we're going to do the reverse order. So we're going to put our pin back in, and where this one's kind of set into the opening, it's going to be easier to do this with the pliers here. All right. Everyone will be a little bit different, but on this particular one, you don't want it to do that. You don't want it to come outside there. There are two little openings inside. There we go. We want it to push in so it sinks all the way down. In fact, that's a requirement so that when you go to put your sleeve back on, it fits inside there. Okay, your sleeve should lock in place so you can't twist it, like so. Next, we'll take our faceplate, line that back up. Looks like my seal is off a little bit there, so we'll fix that. Okay, take these long screws. They should just line up just like before. If not, you may have to fidget around a little bit with them. Okay, that brings everything in good contact. Once again, we'll put the white piece in with the little channel locked in there. We've got our screw that fits in it, and there we go. That should fit around the flat sides of that brass shaft. And we can tighten it in place. Okay, good. And lastly, we're going to take our handle, and again, you'll see that on the inside of here, it's got a little channel here, which is what this fits into. So we can just, there we go. Yeah, you can feel it. It kind of moves just the way it did before. A little less pressure right now since the water's not on. And then we'll take our set screw, our Allen key, and we'll fasten this back in. Again, just kind of hand tight, doesn't need to be super tight, just needs to hold things in place. And it should stop at the bottom just like it did before, and at about 9 o'clock on the left. Now with our handle in place and everything working as it should, we're ready to go ahead and turn the water back on at the water main. Now that we've turned the water main back on, we already can tell right away that this has been a successful repair because there's no dripping. Hallelujah, we have some silence here, which is great. And we're not wasting water literally watching it go down the drain. So next we want to just check our cold and our hot, make sure they're working as expected. One thing you might notice is that when you move the handle now, it might actually move more easily than it did before. That's because we have a fresh cartridge in there. So let's try this out. Okay, I've got our cold. And there's our hot. Okay. Now, if you want more info about this repair, you can check out the links in the description below, where I'll put links to the actual cartridges that were used so you can order them yourselves. You can also typically purchase these at the local hardware store if you want to do this in one day and get it knocked out. But if you know what's coming, it's really helpful just to order it, have it delivered to your house, and then you're ready to go. If you want to join the Learn to DIY Club, where you can get free swag like cool shirts for DIYers, as well as discounts on different products, some extra plans and things like that, be sure to check out my Patreon in the link below. That helps me to make more videos like this, and hopefully it helps you out in the future as well. Now, if you want to do a bathroom renovation, then I've got a video right here, a couple of them actually, where you can learn about doing a remodel of your bathroom with some easy perks and some easy upgrades that you can do in just one weekend. So be sure to check that out.